Hello everyone and welcome to this second video of our complete Python 3 course. Now, if you remember, in the last video we discussed what is Python and what you're going to learn in this course and how to install Python and PyCharm. So if you haven't watched that video yet, make sure to check it out. The link of that video will be in the description box down below. Now, in this video, we're going to start our section 1 of the course. So the section 1, it all has basics of Python, okay? Now, in this section we have 9 parts to cover. So let's get started with the first part. Now, in part 1, we're going to discuss integers, floating points, and the print function. So what are integers? Now, integers are simple numbers without any decimal or any other symbol. For example, 5, 10, 100, 1000, and 10,000. So they're just like simple numbers without any symbol, any symbol like decimal, fraction sign, or just say that they're simple numbers and they can be as long as you want, but they should not have any symbol. That's it, they're integers. Now then we have numbers that has decimal points. So in programming we call it floating points. Now floating points are also numbers, but unlike integers, floating points are numbers with a decimal sign. For example, 1.1, 2.22, 22.2, 100.2, 1000.21, and 10,000.121. So they're numbers with a decimal sign. So many beginners make this mistake that they think that any number that has a symbol is a floating point. No, that's not the case. Not every number is a floating point. The number that only has a decimal, okay, remember, only a decimal, that number is a floating point, not any other symbol. Now we have data types or objects like integers and floating points. Now we need to print them onto our console. So in this case we have the print function. Now the print function is a function used to print objects like objects and data structures like integers and floating points onto our console. So now you might be thinking, what's a console? So let's hop over to PyCharm and see what are integers, how do we use them in Python, and what are floating points in the print function. So we have integers like 15, then we have floating points like 15.4, and then we have a print function. So it's giving me the option to automatically just write it all, but I want to just tell you that what are these things. So I want to just leave them. Okay, now we have integer 15 and floating point 15.4. Then we have the print function. So let me tell you that we have these integers and floating points here, the place where we code, but we want to print them onto our console. So what are we going to do? Then in that case we're going to say print, autocomplete that. So the syntax here is say print and all in lowercase, then parentheses, and then inside those parentheses just write the data type or object you want to print. So when we run it, we have 15 printed onto our console. So as I said, that what is a console? So this is a console, this place that where we see our output. Okay, the code we write here, the program we code here, and when we run that program we have the output of that program over here. So this is a simple code saying print 15, and we have 15 printed onto our console. Now let's print a floating point. So let's say 15.15. Just run it and 15.15 onto our console. Now you might have like these options to run from here. So if you're running for the first time, you're gonna have an option like this. So just click run, and then here we're gonna have an option saying run debug. So just say run, and then it's gonna ask you that which which file to run. So here we have the file hello world, enter that, and here we have hello world run. So then after running for the first time, you're gonna have these options to run and debug. So now that we've saw how to print integers and floating points, now let me clear a concept of most of the beginners. Now most of the beginners think that we can only have one print function at a time. So that's not the case. you can have as much print functions as you want, and they all can have similar data types or different data types, anything. So we have a lot of print functions over here. If I just write it correctly, oops. So here we have, okay, now here you saw that we have a lot of print functions, and all of these print functions has the similar data type, an integer 15. And if you run it, if I just run it, and here we have 15 everywhere. Okay, so it doesn't matter how long or how much print functions do you have, the syntax has to be correct and the data type you pass in has to be correct. Okay, this was the lecture, or the part you can say, about integers, floating points, and the print function. In the coming part of section 1, we're going to discuss strings and a whole topic about strings. So it's going to be a lot interesting topic, more interesting than this topic. Okay, if you like this video, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, turn the bell notifications on, and comment down below if you have any question. And make sure for the most that you subscribe and turn the bell notification on, so that you might not miss any update from this channel. Okay, I'll see you in the next video where we discuss strings.